Hello, welcome to the Scale Modelling Cafe, and welcome to the next in the series of my favourite kits. Now, a little bit different on this one in that I was going to do one of my Arma Hobby kits in the collection, and then I went, well, if I do that one, I can't leave that one out, and then I decided to do, well, let's do a video on Arma Hobby, because well, frankly, they produce some beautiful kits, and they really deserve to be all lumped in together. And for me, it all started. I nearly did some kind of Simon Cowell X Factor, my Arma Hobby journey, but it all started with the Hurricane in 72nd, and here are my two Hurricanes. Now, I built these for the Airfix magazine, and the editor, Stu, said, can you not do like super detail, blah, 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 that I normally do, just nice and simple. But I thought, seeing I had two kits, then why not do just a little bit of an upgrade on one and the other one straight from the box. So this is the one that's straight from the box. These were built when they first came out, and I remember there was a lot of hype when they came out because they were, a relatively new company. They'd done the Iskra in 1/72nd, which was definitely short run, and they were primarily known for their aftermarket resin bits. But they decided to invest in the company and do plastic molding, and effectively this is the first kind of modern, if you like, Arma Hobby kit, and it is fabulous. Frankly, it's lovely. Goes together really well. Innovative design around the tail, the way the tail plane is one piece and then you put the fin on the top. Really like that. There was a little bit of a gap there, but that was easily fed in with a bit of deluxe their acrylic modelling putty stuff, and yeah, it just fell together. The sort of highlights are really detailed cockpit, but obviously you can't see much because this has got the canopy closed, and really detailed wheel well, which is fantastic, but again, it's set on the shelf, you can't really see it very much. But yeah, overall, straight from the box, as this one is, it's a lovely little thing. Slightly different approach to this one. First of all, it's got a full rivet job, obviously just where the metal bits are, not on the fabric. And those of you who've been following the channel for a little while will know that I'm a massive fan of riveted airframes. I think they make such a difference. In fact, I'm going to put my glasses on so I actually see the rivets on this one. Oh yeah, there we go. And the other thing I did with this is the canopy, the open canopy. The clear parts were a little bit thick, I thought. So I sanded it down so it's a lot thinner. The disadvantage of that is the first attempt I cracked in the polishing stage, which was a bit of a nightmare, obviously. The second one, I reinforced the inside with blue tack, and actually it worked a treat. So the canopy appears a lot finer. That means that you can actually get in there and see some of the cockpit detail, which is, as I said before, is absolutely lovely, but it's a bit of a dark hole in there. Again, put my glasses on so I can see it. But you can see all the different piping and tubing and everything, and yeah, it's really nice. I'm really tempted by the Sea Hurricane version in 72nd, actually. And we all know the 48th one is imminent as I film this at the beginning of July. But yeah, just beautiful all around. Tecmod do their decals, and I've always been a big fan of Tecmod. They are very thin, but because of that, you do have to be quite careful, and they are quite grabby. So I tend to use plenty of water underneath, move them in, and then whack them with the setting solutions afterwards, and that seems to work. The last thing I'll mention on this is I used some Canopy paint masks. I think top notch, but I can't quite remember. And they are well worth it, actually. Saves a lot of time. So there you go. That's the Hurricanes. The next one I built was this, the Wildcat. This is the earlier one, the F4F4. And again, it's had a full rivet job, which really makes a difference, actually. I do have another one in the stash. That will be done as a Fleet Air Arm one. And again, I think the addition of the rivets really just elevate it to the next level. But I totally understand why Arma don't do rivets. It just keeps the cost down. Not everybody likes them. I do think that, for example, Clear Prop, I much prefer their approach because it just saves me the bother of doing all the riveting, frankly. But that's a personal choice.
Daddy, does your
Okay, sorry about that interruption, the daughter. Right. Where was I? Yes, I was talking about this, wasn't I? The riveting. So horses for courses, but it really, I think, elevates it that up a notch. The undercarriage is really fine, really complicated, but really well molded. Fits great. Is plenty sturdy enough. I painted all the components first and then glued it, which actually in hindsight, I think on the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually build all up and then paint it separately. It's going to complicate the painting, but actually looking at it, I think that'd be easier in hindsight. The detail in this is beautiful. In the cockpit is extremely well detailed. The undercarriage bay and everything. If you get the I don't know what they call it, expert set or whatever it is, you get photo etch stuff for all the linkages and chains in there. It doesn't need it, really doesn't, because you can't really see it in there. But in fact, if I put my glasses on, I might be able to make a qualified decision. Yeah, you will struggle to see it, but I can see it through there. Fits together beautifully. I'm running out of superlatives, really. Really careful paint job on this. Again, I used the decals. They settled down over the riveting that I did really, really nicely. Paint job. This is based on AMT7 on the top, which is the Soviet colour that's underneath. It was lightened a little bit. And that actually dulled down the blueness. So it is back to the sort of non-specular blue-grey. So it's MRP paint and gold grey underneath. And yeah, overall it's a beautiful thing. Now this appeared in Air Modeler magazine, which is always a big thrill because it is by far and away the best magazine out there. And they did a lovely job. Let's see if I can stick the sort of title page up there. And yeah, all round a beautiful, beautiful kit. Definitely one of my favourites. Right, the last one is the beautiful Key 84. Now, this was a real surprise when they announced this. Totally out the blue. They really did a job on everyone, and no one expected a Japanese subject from them. And the fact is, this one is was beautiful. Now, again, you can see, you might be able to see if the light catches it. Riveting detail. Especially on a natural metal aeroplane, I do find, and this is my own personal opinion, that is essential, because I just find it just looks a little bit bland, and it just elevates it to another level. Now these are really subtle rivets again, which is exactly what you want. Is subtlety is the key. There's just a hint of them there. This went together beautifully. The cockpit is beautifully detailed, but the opening on this is even smaller than the Wildcat and the Hurricanes. You have like a top decking that goes over the top, which has got lots of detail on it, and again, a lot of that is lost. The beauty of Arma Hobby in all their kits is the two different boxings. There's one that comes with photo etch and masks for the canopy, and the other one is just stock kit, like your Edward Weekend, if you like. I tend to always go for the ones with the photo etch and the canopy masks because that's just me, but it's just definitely not essential. The basic kits without all that stuff, especially on something like this where a lot of the photo etch is in the cockpit and it's very fine, very small in there. But what you do get is the seat belts, obviously seat harness. Now on the Wildcat, I tried using the photo etch ignition harness and it just didn't work. It's just so fine, it just fell apart really. I was determined to get it to work on this and I managed it, which I'm very pleased about. It just saved me the job of doing the wiring. But again, if I'm perfectly honest, the spinner's quite big, and if I look in there, you will really struggle to see the wiring. It's a little bit more easy to see on the Wildcat because it's a larger opening and there isn't really much of a spinner, but the engine is further back. Whereas on this one, the engine is further forward, as we would say in the Navy, but it's a much bigger spinner. So actually, arguably, you can see less detail in there. The other advantage of the photo etch on this one was the gear doors were photo etch, so pretty much scale thickness, which is beautiful. And yeah, all the markings were sprayed on this one, apart from the tail decal here, because Nige, friend of the channel, unfortunately he didn't flip the other image, so I had two left-hand sides. But I just used the kit decal, it's fine. And then just match the paint. But obviously Hinamara is dead easy to paint. And that's it. As I said, a beautifully detailed little model. So that's it for Arma Hobby. My favourite kits in my collection. Bit of a sort of group chat, if you like, on those. What's next from Arma Hobby is the 48 scale Hurricane. As I film this, they are about to dispatch them. So it's beginning of July, what, 2nd or 3rd of July, something like that. And we are very close for them to start distributing them. I fly home in 4 days' time. I very much doubt I'm going to get it before I fly back, but wife and kids are coming out to visit in September. So I'm hoping I'll have my copy and they can bring it out with them. We shall see. There we are. Right, I'll leave it there. That's Arma Hobby. Aren't they ace? Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye-bye.